You're listening to the Millennials Choice Show, Canada's most trusted podcast on all things real estate, finance, and entrepreneurship. Here's your host, Matthew Ablakan.
Yo, what's going on, guys? We're back in the studio. Matt Ablakan.
What's going on, guys? Danny Ablakan here.
Who's your favorite, guys? Who's your favorite?
Me,
Is it Matt? No,
obviously.
Come on. Come on, guys. We got an exciting episode for you guys. We're going to go down the rabbit hole. We're going to talk about Airbnb crackdowns, medication theft at open houses, and a lot more. Is your student debt holding you back from owning a house? I will tell you why it is not. Why it is not. And Danny might say, no, it is because, he has to take your side. But, I got my opinion. He's got his. Before we jump into it, guys, if you're interested in investing in real estate, right now, Danny and I are working on a new construction project in Brantford, Ontario. Freehold townhome starting from $599, 10% deposit. So all you need is $60,000 spread out over 6 months to get into this project. Best part is no mortgage needed until late 2025, all the way through to 2026, depending on which block of townhouses you buy in. So this is a great opportunity for you as a first-time home buyer or investor to get into the market at today's price without having to worry about today's interest rates. I own one in the area. So does Danny. If you'd like more information, reach out to either one of us.
No, for sure. Great opportunity, guys, to get in. And you know what? You don't want to live in Brantford? That's fine. You don't have to live there. Use it as an investment vehicle to get to where you want to be. If you want to sell it later, you can. You might have that option. You'll be able to rent it out, leverage it, whatever the case is. You don't have to live there. So just putting that out there. Some people are like, oh, hands up. I don't know Brantford. I don't want to live there. It's too far. You don't have to live there.
We know Brantford. I closed mine. I did an equity takeout and I ended up putting tenants in there. You're flipping yours. You're going to make some money. We know Brantford.
It just gives you those options right down the road.
On that note, Lendlord, it's this new app that I'm using. So basically it has 3 functionalities. Number 1, you could analyze a deal. So let's say you're interested in looking at buying a rental or a property to flip. You can input all the data into this app and it'll spit out to you whether this is a good investment or not based on the metrics that it has and the data you put in there. My favorite is number 2, where you can actually manage your rental portfolio. Because as you know, I have lots of tenants. Sometimes I don't remember when rent is due, but I can put all the data into this app and it reminds me and it generates all kinds of reports. The third functionality is that let's say you have a deal, but you don't know how to finance it. So you want to find the right type of financing. This will help you. Now it's free to use, free to download. They do have a premium side. If you want to sign up for the premium side using the promo code in the link in the description below, you will get 90 days of the premium, so 3 months for free. Download Landlord. Let me know what you think about it. Speaking of rentals, did you hear what the federal housing minister's talking about doing with cracking down with Airbnb?
I did.
Let me read.
You want to read it first? Go for it.
Yeah, let me read this article from CBC, the most reliable news media out there. Federal housing minister, this is the title of the article. Federal housing minister floats Airbnb crackdown to boost long-term rental supply. Tens of thousands of short-term rental properties could be turned into homes for families, Sean Fraser says. Housing Minister Sean Fraser said Monday the federal government is considering a series of measures to curb the number of Airbnb and other short-term rental units on offer to boost the supply of homes available to rent for a longer stretch. Why can't they just write proper articles like all these types of words that they use? It's so weird. What stretch? What offer to boost? Anyway, Fraser said a crackdown on the proliferation of these units is part of a broader liberal government plan to help build and finance more housing units to deal with an acute shortage of affordable homes. The fall economic statement is expected to include billions of dollars worth of new measures to help Canada cope with severe housing crunch, including low-cost loans for home construction. But Fraser said there's another way to address the supply crunch. Oh, so they admit that there's a supply crunch.
Yeah.
Finally, make existing properties tied up on short-term rental properties or platforms, available to prospective long-term renters and buyers. Quote unquote, he says, we believe there's likely tens of thousands of homes that could be made available to Canadians by addressing this particular challenge. Fraser said of Airbnb units, which typically are rented out a few nights at a time to travelers. If there's tens of thousands of units, we can turn it into not a competitor for a hotel for a few nights, but a home for families in a community. It's incumbent on us to do everything we can to use those properties for homes. Fraser said that Ottawa could use, this is how they get you, taxation powers to make owning an Airbnb less lucrative.
Yes.
To bring on new pockets of supply. The government's theory is that if it's less financially advantageous to put a property up for rent on a platform like Airbnb or VRBO, many owners will instead sell their units or rent them out for longer stretches to locals and newcomers. We'll leave it there.
And what that pretty much means, like here I have it, like they're pretty much going to deny income tax deductions for people that own Airbnbs. So it's not going to be incentivizing for them to own Airbnbs, and as a result, they'll just convert them to long-term rentals. Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Let's talk about it.
Like, which way do you want to look at this? You want to look at it from the way of freedoms, like leave me alone, let me do what the hell I want with my property I worked hard to acquire, to achieve, to get.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing for freedoms, I think,
right?
Personally.
In terms of supply, I mean, I'm biased. I don't use Airbnb or VRBO or whatever other platforms exist. I'm a long-term renter kind of guy. I do 1-year lease agreements to tenants that live there for at least a year. And a few of my tenants have lived there for 3 or 4 years. One tenant's going on for 5 years. So I'm a long-term tenant kind of guy. So like, it's not going to affect me in that sense. It could affect me in the sense there's more supply. But again, we have a supply issue. And I don't actually know. You can't just take what an article tells you. I don't know how many rental units are on Airbnb and VRBO. I don't know if it's in the tens of thousands. I don't know that. I haven't verified that. So I don't know if what he's saying is true.
Yeah. We can't just take it at face value. That's for sure.
Like, is this just an attack on landlords? Is it just one attack on the small landlord that owns 1 or 2 or 3 properties?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like they're passing legislation to go after big landlords. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We're going to talk to you later about this in this episode, where the federal government has committed to providing billions of dollars to large landlords. So you're on one hand committing to giving billions to large landlords, large corporations, and on the other hand, you're stripping away the rights and freedoms of smaller landlords.
I pretty much see this. There is 2 ways to see this, right? So from the perspective we're talking about right now, which is, the perspective of someone that owns a couple, homes, let's say for rent, a landlord, right? He has a few houses, let's say, or he could own 5 or 10 houses, right? And he has them on Airbnb. Now, what they're doing right now, or what they're trying to do, is pretty much make it so that that person isn't as profitable, right? Having the Airbnbs. And as a result, it's going to deter him. And then that person's going to say, they're hoping he's going to say, you know what, I should just rent it out long-term. I'll make more money to more long-term tenants, right? And as a result, that'll create more housing for people that need it, right? Sounds like a good plan. But when you're looking at it from that perspective, what's happening to the free market? How come this person is pretty much being pushed to operate their business, the business of owning real estate, to own it long term? Why can't they, do short-term rentals? Why are they being pushed pretty much by losing these tax incentives that everyone, I think, should have in terms of deductions, from a business off your income tax, to go and supply these people with short-term housing? What about the people that need the short-term housing? What if it's people that's traveling and they don't want to go to a traditional hotel and pay an arm and a leg for a couple nights, and they want an Airbnb, right? Or they need a house, right? And for a short term, not a hotel room. I don't understand. I feel like it's very manipulative, in my opinion. And I feel like they can address the supply issue in better ways than not attacking, but, pretty much squeezing these landlords to having to, commit to long-term rentals and stop their short-term rental business.
So let's just unpack one thing that he said.
Yeah.
He said here, so No, I want the exact thing that he said. Yes, right here. The government's theory is that if it's less financially advantageous to put a property up for rent on a platform like Airbnb or VRBO, many owners will instead sell their units or rent them out for longer stretches to locals and newcomers. So, first of all, there's no correlation to if you're not able to do Airbnb or it's not lucrative, then we're going to sell our property. Airbnb is a newer phenomenon, right? In the last 5 years?
Recently, yeah.
There's no correlation to that. If a landlord can't be on Airbnb, they're going to sell their property.
Where do they get that from? Yeah.
There's no correlation. They'll just, as they said here, or rent them out for longer stretches.
Yeah.
Fine. You create more rental supply, but where's the housing supply in terms of I want to be able to afford a home to purchase?
Yeah.
What if I don't want to
address that at all? This doesn't do anything for that, actually, in my opinion.
I just found it interesting because I keep reading it. For those of you listening, we're looking at our laptop. We got articles, we got notes. Longer stretches to locals and newcomers.
Yeah.
So they're already telling us, obviously, immigration is going to be a huge part of this. But the problem is, you see, we just rented out to a home to a family where they're getting funding from the government. They have no credit history, no jobs. They're not even working yet because the government's hooking them up. And there's policies in place where you can come to the country now without actually demonstrating your financial capability. So I'm seeing this and part of me says, I don't care. And then the other part of me says, the policies that are in place here that they're trying to put in are right now on the onset look good, but it's creating this perfect storm. Who are the newcomers? Who are the newcomers you're bringing? Bring qualified newcomers. How many newcomers came and left in 2019? I think 39% of all immigrants that came to Canada left in 2019.
That's crazy. It's almost half.
Who are the newcomers? Who are going to be the renters of the future? Because if you keep attacking, if it starts from the small landlord and it works its way up eventually, well, man, I think they're pushing to own property. I think the government's going to be, and they're trying to be in control of it.
Well, they already kind of started, wanting to own property through the home buyer incentive program, right? Where they get a piece of equity in your property to give you a little bit of money. And I really just feel like this is not going to help the supply issue. I think they need to target, creating more homes. And I'm not talking about freaking storage container homes, which we could talk about later. I'm talking about real homes that families can grow in, not a storage container or cage. I really think that, what's happening right now with the interest rates is hurting a lot of people in terms of being able to afford and purchase a home. And unfortunately, with what's happening right now, with the amount of people coming in and the supply being so low and demand being so high, even when the rates come down, I feel like first-time buyers, people that want to get in the market, are screwed. I think they're screwed because what happens when the rates come down? All these people are going to be coming into the market to buy. And what's that going to do for prices? Through the roof.
Woo!
Through the roof.
Woo!
And guess what?
Can't wait.
It's going to be one of those times again, just like 2022
Can't wait.
and these past years. Oh yeah, guys, this house is so beautiful. Let's check it out. Oh, we love the house. We want to put an offer. Danny, sounds good. Guys, this is what, there's an offer night, and offer night comes. Guys, there's 40 offers on this one house. Are you serious?
How many did you do like that?
40 off, bro. Every house was like that. It didn't make sense. And guys, people were overpaying for shit. It didn't make sense. It just didn't make, people were overpaying for stuff. It didn't make sense. I think it's only going to get worse, guys. I feel like it's only going to get worse with what's happening with housing unless these guys remove the red tape, start giving builders a reason to actually start building more homes and actually start, not taxing the hell out of them with these development charges that cities are getting every time a builder goes to build.
We're not saying you get rid of the taxes and then the builder still charges the same price. No,
No.
have like
laws in place saying, okay, we're going to reduce this much tax, but at the same time, you can't, make that profit. We're trying to pass the savings to the homeowners, to people, so that they can actually afford places and not live in their, parents' basements until they're 40. That doesn't make sense to me,
Guys, Airbnb crackdown. Let us know what you think about that. But let's just shift focus real quick. So on the other hand, Deputy Prime Minister announces 1.2 billion with a B to build over 2,600 new rental homes in Toronto. So today, the Honorable Chrystia Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, and the Honorable Arif Vidani, Minister of Justice and Attorney General, announced the federal investment of $1.2 billion to build 2,644 rental homes across 7 new projects in Toronto, provided as a fully repayable loan with low interest through the Rental Construction Financing Initiative. And then they list here the addresses and how much money they're getting. Increasing the overall supply of rental housing is crucial to creating stronger and more vibrant communities that Canadians can feel proud to call home. With today's announcement, the Rental Construction Financing Initiative is on track to create more than 71,000 new rental housing units across Canada by 2027 to 2028.
But who's going to own those homes, though, is what I want to know. Are they going to be government-owned homes?
No. So first of all, if you guys want information on this rental construction financing initiative, we've actually financed builders I have with my commercial team for these programs from the federal government. So you guys want access to low loans, like low interest loans that are repayable, but like you can actually make the numbers work to build rental housing, because that was always the issue. Reach out to me. I'll be able to help you. If you're looking to finance 1 or 2 units, we're not the ones for you, but anyone who wants to finance like 20 units and up, that's who we are. So these are owned by actual like people, like companies, like corporations.
Yeah.
So they buy a piece of land, instead of building condos or townhouses, they build apartments, they build rentals.
That makes sense. That makes way more sense. I thought it was like government housing.
The funds are coming from the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, I mean, just remember where the government gets their money from. $1.2 billion, that comes from us, taxpayers.
For sure.
So we're paying to loan out money to investors, landlords, to create rental housing for people that need rentals. They need to live in rentals. So investors are always the one, majority of the time, that provide the rental housing. The reason why the government's stepping in is because it hasn't been lucrative for developers to actually develop rentals, because they have to put up so much of the cost. And it just doesn't make sense to do that when you can build a condo or townhomes, make money, and have skin in the game, but not as much.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why these guys are coming in the picture now. Do we need the housing supply? Yes. Do we need rentals? Yes. Do we need properties that are available for purchase? Yes. But again, we're the ones paying for this.
Yeah.
And what this tells you is that the future is not create more housing for people to own. It's create more rentals.
Create more rentals, yeah.
They want you to rent.
Yeah.
That's plain and simple. They want you to rent. And you might ask why. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Why would the government say, we're putting $1.2 billion of your money, we're going to create more rentals for you. So we're using your money to create more rentals for you. But we're not doing the simple things to create more housing where you can actually afford to buy it.
So I was just going to say, like, that's a red flag, because, and I like the way you put it, because it makes sense, because if it was about making it more affordable for buyers to get into the market, then they would go about it through different avenues, right? Like, for example, reducing taxes. I don't know, just a thought.
Well, in Ontario, just as another option is rates right now with B lenders, let's say they're in the high 7s. I was just doing a deal yesterday. That's what comes to mind. 7.99. You're getting your rate at 7.99 with a B lender. But to qualify for the mortgage, you have to qualify at 9.99. So why don't you just get rid of the qualification of being 2 points higher? That helps. Let me qualify at 7.99.
That alone will help people get in.
Yeah, why would I? So there's so many things that they can do to reduce it, but they've been making it harder and harder for you to own a home. They're not making it harder to have rentals.
It's true.
They're saying here's billions.
That, and also, like I said, man, if you want people to have more money for down payments, reduce taxes. Instead of having to give $1.2 billion to a developer or a builder to build rentals, don't tax people as much. They'll have more money available to themselves to save for a down payment for a house. I don't know, just a thought.
I think there should be a balance. I think there should be, because there's always going to be people that need rentals. They can't afford to buy it. As I said, not to knock on anyone in particular, but like a single parent, 2 dependents, 2 children, they're barely making ends meet.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about maybe owning a home. They can't do it. There's no way for them to do it necessarily. It's extremely difficult. They need proper communities of rentals. They need that.
Yeah,
I believe in that. That's why I buy investment properties. But you think I was a renter. I was a tenant. Sarah and I were tenants for a while, even though we had properties, but we were tenants. So I'm not knocking on anyone. It's this. Some people want to rent. Some people have to rent. Some people prefer to rent. No problem. No discrimination. So we need rental communities. All I'm saying is that where's the action and the initiative to create housing people can afford to buy? That's the thing for me. That's the kicker. Is it because 90% of all millionaires are become millionaires through real estate and they know that and they don't want you necessarily to have financial freedom? Maybe. Are some people thinking that? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there just so much red tape in Canada that it's easier to do this than it is to make housing more affordable for people to purchase? Maybe.
Yeah.
Are they thinking long term that there's so many immigrants coming to this country that they won't be able to afford a place right away, or they're not allowed to buy right away? So we need to create rental housing first. That's the priority. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
That could be something.
Definitely. Well, regardless of what happens with this, I think with the amount of immigrants coming in, we're going to need some sort of housing, whether it's rental housing, or, new homes people can purchase or condos people can purchase. I definitely think it is a step in the right direction. It does more good than bad, I think. This is good to see. People will have, more stable places to live, which is, what we need right now. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, at the end of the day, there's good and bad to both scenarios, but at least they're doing something with our money, with our tax dollars, to create more house. Like, it's crazy how they can lend our money.
Yeah.
Lend our money. Yeah, we'll collect and we'll lend and we'll do this and we'll do that. Like, I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
And on that note, like talking about interest and lending money out, let's talk about student loans, and what's going on with, people that, pretty much have to go to, secondary, schooling, university, college, whatever, to get, a good paying job, right?
Did you go to university? Did you go?
I did.
Because if you didn't go, I don't want to hear about this, eh?
I graduated top of my class, 2016, York University.
What do you mean top of your class?
I don't know if I was top of my class.
You were not top of your class, that's for sure.
A lot of people right now, like students that are graduating that have this huge student loan on their hand, is it helping them get a job? Is it hurting their ability to qualify for a mortgage right now? We'll talk about it. Let's get into it.
Listen, guys, I have the article in front of me. I just want to pull up one more thing. Here's the thing. We both went to university. All right, so I'm not going to find that right now. We both went to university. I've got 2 degrees, an honors in law, and my Bachelor of Education. I understand what it's like to have student debt. We didn't have rich parents to pay for it. We had to pay for it for ourselves. Working hard, whatever, pay for it. I took a chance. I invested in a pre-construction property. I didn't need a mortgage, didn't need the down payment. I just needed 15 grand. Back then I was working 2 jobs. I could afford it. But I don't like when we are playing victim in every single area of our lives. I really hate that. Ooh, high rates. Ooh, student debt. Ooh, the government. Ooh, this. Ooh, that. The weather. It's raining today. I don't like it. I don't like playing victim. Enough of this victim crap. Like, I don't like it. Listen to this. Oria's latest poll, Ontario Real Estate Association, conducted by Abacus Data, confirms that student loan debt is the primary reason for delaying home ownership among young adults. The poll found that a quarter of post-secondary graduates are still engaged in debt repayment, and graduates with debt greater than only $5,000 agree that their debt makes it harder to save for a down payment. This situation is causing 42% of graduates to consider leaving Ontario for provinces with a lower cost of living and more affordable housing. Despite carrying debt, 75% of graduates have strong aspirations for home ownership. And then there's some bumbo jumbo that they talk about. But guys, student loan debt is the primary reason that you're delaying home ownership. Why'd you go to school? Why did you choose to go to university only to graduate with debt? Why did you party all those weekends? Why did you finance a car? Why did you blow it on bullshit? And then you're going to say, that's the reason why. What are you doing with your life now? 90% of you are living at home with your parents. How don't you have any time to save, or any money to save, I should say? Budget. Eat at home. Don't go get your Starbucks coffee. Don't go get food out all the time. Like,
that's what pisses me off, though, because
they give you this thing, this survey. We did this poll, and whatever this company is, we did this poll, and they told us, the guys that have the debt told us it's their primary reason. Why don't you put a camera on those people and follow them all day long and see how they live their lives? Do you work? Where's your money going?
Exactly. And how long do you work? How much hours you put in, right? Because I don't know about you guys that are listening or watching this, but I can't even speak for Matthew. Matthew's even crazier than me. We work literally 7 days a week, and most of the time it's 10 to 12-hour shifts.
I work 8 days a week. Honestly, I work 8 days a week.
We are working.
But it's not about that. When I graduated, I had $40,000 of student debt.
And you figured it out.
And I figured it out without mom and dad's help. Without mom and dad's help. I can honestly say that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have, like, you're talking about graduates with debt greater than only $5,000. I don't even know how they worded that. Agree that their debt makes it harder to save for down payment. I'm just going to give it to you straight. You have debt of $5,000 and you can't afford a down payment. You don't deserve to own a home. Plain and simple. You can't manage debt of $5,000. It's better we don't give you debt of $500,000 on a condo that you can't manage than, rather than doing that, you go live in a rental.
You know what the problem is? The problem is there's a lot of people right now that are not financially literate. That's the issue. Matt, these guys don't know what to do with their money.
Well, of course they're not financially literate. They don't let us go into the schools to teach them. We go into the schools. You know which teachers have been calling us into the schools, and we still go because of the kids. You know which teachers? The teachers that save the curriculum for mortgages to the end of the year in June. I'm exposing right now. And they reach out to us in June and say, can you come in these couple of weeks towards the end? We went there. I went there once, the school in Markham. The teacher that invited me was nowhere to be found. I didn't know what to do. I was like, how do I set this up? My presentation, my PowerPoint? She was nowhere to be found. She showed up at the end, shook my hand and left. And I'm like, is this even the teacher? I don't even know.
Yeah, she didn't even care.
They don't care. So for you guys to come and say, whoever took this data, shame on you, this poll, shame on you, that with student debt of greater than 5,000, like, you find it troublesome and difficult to save money for a down payment. How about you afford the 5,000 or the 10,000 or the 20,000? How about you show us that you can pay that off? How about you show us you do that? Maybe you don't go out for 6 months. You pay that off. That's all it takes. Like, you can figure it out. If it's 5, 10, 20,000, Come on.
Buddy, I was talking to Maddie the other day. I said, listen.
Hang on. You can figure this out. But if you can't figure this out, let me reiterate my point. You are not responsible enough. Just because you went to university and sat there in your track pants, your Roots track pants, because that's what I used to wear. You are not responsible enough to own a home. You're not entitled to owning a home. There's no such thing. You have to deserve it. Life responds to deserve, not need. Bro, you can't handle 5, 10, 20, 40. I had 42,000 of debt. You can't handle that, and you're blaming that? Who the hell told you to go to university? To graduate with debt and not a career? Blame your choices. Stay accountable to yourself and hold yourself accountable and get yourself out of the rut that you call your life right now and figure your stuff out. That's the only way we make Canada great again. That's the only way you make America great again. This generation, bro, that we're a part of, gosh, makes me sick. Not all of them. We have some amazing clients that when they hear this or read this would have the same feelings that we do. Same feelings that we do. 23 years old, they own 3 properties. Working hard, laborers, working with their hands, doing amazing job. Went to school, had school debt, figured it out. Guys right now making $600K a year in their mid-20s still have student debt. They've got lots of student debt. Bro, I see, those are our clients. I see it. So screw you, this poll, and the company that did it, and whoever thinks like this, whatever. You guys, you don't deserve to own a home. Manage your 5,000 first. Sorry, Danny, go ahead.
No, that was really good, man. I agree with you on all those points, and
just frustrates me.
Like, I think the problem with people is, like, again, like I see it all the time. Like, people, they have like 5,000. They have a limit on their credit card. It's like 5,000, and then their balance is like 6,000. And I'm like, and you're wondering why your credit score is hurt. Like, you're over your limit, or they have a really small limit of like $1,000, and they've used $500 somewhere, and it's like you're half past your limit. Like, you need to go and increase your limit, but then you talk to those people, and then they say, "Yeah, I have like 10 grand saved." Why aren't you wiping out your debt first? Why would you want to pay 25% interest? Do you understand how that doesn't make sense?
Yeah, but
do you understand how like it's so stupid and absurd to be like, I'm just gonna let the money sit in the bank, doing nothing, earning 0.25%, not even, I wish. It doesn't make sense to me, right? Make it make sense. It doesn't. And I think a lot of people are just depending on mom and dad. They're depending on someone to help them and bail them out. And listen, for those people that could get help from the parents, all the power to you. People have asked me that were buying, should I get a gift from my parents? I said, listen, if they're offering, accept it.
Should I get a gift?
Why would you?
Should I get a gift?
Why would you
get the gift
and use it?
Get the gift, bro. Listen to me. I'm still gonna give you guys a tip. You guys make me sick, but I'm gonna give you a tip. I'm pissed off now. My voice is going. I'm pissed off. You who have 5,000 to 20, 30, 40,000 in student debt, if you have more than that, like what the hell are you doing your degree for? But anyways, any bit of debt, go get the money from your parents if you can, if this is available to you, pay off your school, and then pay back your parents over time. Do that. At least clear up this so you're not paying massive interest.
And if you're going to pay interest, why not pay it to your parents? Why would you
and
pay
I'm
it to them?
confused. Didn't the government just say we're no longer charging student loan interest or things like that?
It's a portion. It's a portion because there's the Ontario and there's federal, right? I think it was the federal.
So
aspect,
let's tax
which is
you.
like not the majority of it. The majority is like the provincial.
Let's tax
loan.
you. Let's tax you and give you interest on your education. Are you guys crazy? Yeah. Are you guys crazy? I hated school since day one. I went to school for one reason alone. My parents forced us. They ingrained it into us. But I got licensed at 19. I graduated when I was 23. Do you understand? I wasn't there. I was present, but I wasn't in university. You understand? I was sometimes physically present, but I wasn't present. My GPA was great. In my undergrad, it was all right, but my teacher's college, because I actually love that. But you guys chose to go to school. You didn't choose to go make money. You didn't choose to work. You didn't choose to do anything. You chose to go into school. And now you're complaining that that's the reason Why? I don't buy it. That's all I'm saying. I don't buy it.
It's the victim mindset, man. And everybody, that has that mindset is always going to think of an excuse and the reason why, they're not where they are in life. But the ultimate factor is you're where you're at because of you and your own decisions, right? You chose to go to school. You chose to go do these things and to go into debt. At least have a plan. The people I respect are the people that have a plan at least, and they're not focused on partying and, wasting money at Starbucks. Because realistically speaking, guys, I've seen it firsthand. Whenever people complain about they're in debt and blah, 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 and we're trying to help them, they own a house and they're in debt. When we look at their bank statements, because we have to, for the banks request it, and we're reviewing it, all I see, skip the dishes, Uber Eats, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, all this kind of crap. I told Maddie, I said, if we're ever in a position, God forbid, I don't know, something's happening in the world and we're literally about to starve, I'm like, we're literally staying home. We're not going out. We're eating shit. We're just eating rice and freaking beans and whatever you got to eat to survive.
This guy just said he was going to eat shit.
Yeah.
Why do you keep using that word? It's not like you.
No, because you have to do what you have to do to survive. And you know what? You're not going to, if you're at that point, you're not going to make excuses. You got to do what you got to do. And it is what it is. You're not going to go out. You're not going to eat out and you're not going to see people. And that's it. But don't complain about it because it is what it is.
On this particular thing, I had made notes prior to going off the cuff. I don't buy this. This is your story that you're telling yourself. It's your choice. When the thing I just read, the article just said major barrier. Why? What are the actual reasons? What are the actual barriers to home ownership? How about we talk about government spending? How about we talk about higher rates? How about we talk about labor and material costs? How about we talk about supply chain issues? How about we talk about municipal red tape and taxes? How about we talk about supply and demand? How about we talk about mortgage qualifying standards? How about we talk about inflation? Just to name a few. You're going to talk about it's hard to save because I have student debt.
Really?
Screw off. Honestly, I think that's where we're going to end this episode.
Yeah, that was good.
Any final thoughts?
No, just stop having the victim mindset. Just be true to who you are, make the right decisions, and take action. Don't just sit there and cry. Get yourself out of the situation you're in that you don't want to be in.
For those of you who are taking control of your lives, congratulations. We want people like you. Reach out to us. Just even if you don't have a deal to talk about or whatever, just reach out to us. What you hear is what you get. What you see is what you get from us too. The people that connect with us, that we get together, we have breakfast, we have brunch, we have lunches, whatever, we motivate each other. Iron sharpens iron. Let's keep that going.
Yeah.
All right, guys, till next time.
We're out.